Hello viewers, I'm your host Uzma Jafri with another episode of South Asia Focus. Peace and stability in Afghanistan is significant to ensure regional development. India, a major contributor towards economic development of the war-torn country, recently hosted Afghan President Ashraf Ghani and US Secretary of State Rex Tillerson. We have a report.
Ghani came to New Delhi to discuss a strategy with the Indian leadership to bring peace and development in his country. Ghani discussed a range of bilateral and regional issues with Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Foreign Minister Sushma Swaraj. The leaders expressed their firm resolve to end the menace of terrorism and enhance development in his region. The Afghan president, while speaking at an event, blamed Pakistan for an increasing in numbers of terrorist attacks in his country.
Where we have not had progress, despite trying, unfortunately, has been with Pakistan. We held the hand of peace and the hand of dialogue. Unfortunately, we saw conflict and intensification of conflict.
Ghani, who was on a one-day visit to India, also spoke about Afghanistan-India air corridor, which was inaugurated in June. He said now no country could pose any obstacle to his landlocked Afghanistan from trading with India.
In the past, Afghanistan's history has been dominated after World War II by the threat of shutdown of transit. Now no country can shut down our transit. We have an air corridor to India, so we jump over space that does not cooperate.
Ghani's visit in New Delhi was followed by the visit of US Secretary of State Rex Tillerson. Tillerson, who met Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Foreign Minister Sushma Swaraj, said Washington was concerned about the stability of the Pakistani government against militant groups.
These terrorist organizations have enlarged their numbers and have enlarged their strength and their capability within Pakistan's borders. This can lead to a threat to Pakistan's own stability. It is not in anyone's interest that the government of Pakistan be destabilized. And so we think we have a mutually shared interest in not just containing these organizations, but ultimately eliminating these organizations.
Earlier, Tillerson made a visit to Islamabad and Kabul to discuss the U.S. strategy for ending America's longest war in Afghanistan and curb the menace of the Taliban and other extremists inside Pakistan.
India has played a significant role in the reconstruction and rehabilitation of Afghanistan. To speak more on the recent developments, we are now joined by Vishal Chandra, Research Fellow at the Institute for Defence Studies and Analysis in New Delhi. Mr. Chandra, what do you make from the recent visits by Afghan President Ashraf Ghani and US Secretary of State Rex Tillerson to New Delhi?
I think there's a long and broad context to India's engagement with Afghanistan and the United States. One cannot look at President Ghani's recent visit or Secretary Tillerson's first visit in his current capacity independent of the engagements earlier. Afghanistan has been at the front line of war against terrorism. Americans have been involved for 15 years, but still the country remains unstable. Now that's a long question, but somewhere there's a realization in Washington that Pakistan needs to change its behavior, because for several years, in fact for several decades, Pakistan has been sponsoring proxy terrorist networks inside Afghanistan. President Trump in his August 21 address made it very clear that he expects Pakistan to change his behavior. President Trump calls himself a problem solver, and he has given broad powers to his military commanders, to his field commanders on the ground. He has refused to lay down a timetable for the withdrawal of forces. Now that changes the dynamics, because the military intelligence apparatus of Pakistan and certain regional countries and the proxy terrorist networks operating from within Pakistan, they were looking at post-US or post-West scenario in Afghanistan. Now that scenario is gone, so obviously Pakistan and its proxies will have to find ways to deal with the Afghan government and Washington DC.
What sort of role does the United States expect from India to play in Afghanistan?
Well, we have our own independent bilateral, robust engagement with Afghanistan. Well, in more recent years, since 2001, we have carried out several reconstruction projects. We have also been carrying out small development projects. We have been engaged in capacity building projects. Basically, India doesn't have any exit strategy. We fully realize the potential of Afghanistan in terms of interlinking our region. We have been working with Afghans for and Iranians for developing Chabahar port, which will help India in terms of overcoming the denial of overland transit facilities by Pakistan. It will help revive Afghanistan's economy. It will also give boost to connectivity via Chabahar to Iran and further on into Central Asia. So both India and US in fact are now looking at a more interconnected region, and the two governments have decided to work closely on the issue. We are also working together on the issue of counter-terrorism with the Afghan government and the Trump administration, and I think External Affairs Minister has announced that in December the inaugural meeting of the bilateral mechanism that has been worked out to designate terrorist organizations active in the region will take place in Delhi.
Both Afghanistan and the United States have condemned Pakistan for its role in supporting terrorism. What message does it give to Islamabad?
Well, Secretary Tillerson in his speech at CSIS, a very well-known think tank in Washington DC, I think he made a very interesting statement when he said, that was a policy statement, when he said that Americans will stay in Afghanistan. They are there to stay so long as it takes for Taliban to give up violence and come to the negotiation table, so long as it takes for Taliban to talk to the government in Afghanistan, so long as it takes to stabilize Afghanistan. In his August 21 speech, President Trump made it very clear that his forces are there to stay. So that somewhere shows that Americans are taking a very, very long-term view of the challenges emanating from Afghanistan-Pakistan region.
Thank you, Mr. Chandra, for sharing your thoughts. Moving on, Indian Foreign Minister Sushma Swaraj had recently been on a visit to neighbouring Bangladesh to discuss issues of mutual interest. She inaugurated several development projects and vowed to fight against threat of terrorism and extremism together. We have a report.
India and Bangladesh share a 2,545-mile long international border, the fifth longest land border in the world. For India, Bangladesh comes first among all of its neighbours as part of the neighbourhood policy adopted by the government. Indian Foreign Minister Sushma Swaraj had recently visited Dhaka to attend the Indo-Bangla Joint Consultative Commission meeting. On the visit, she said both India and Bangladesh would work towards adopting a zero-tolerance policy in fighting violent extremism and terrorism.
We are both determined to protect our societies from the threat of ideologies of hate, violence and terror by adopting a zero-tolerance policy and a comprehensive approach in fighting violent extremism and terrorism at all levels.
Swaraj said India was deeply concerned with the plight of the people in the violence-hit state and felt that the rapid socio-economic and infrastructure development of the state was the only long-term solution of the crisis. Bangladesh Foreign Minister Abul Hassan Muhammad Ali, while thanking Swaraj for reassuring assistance to the cause, urged India to exert pressure on Myanmar to take back displaced Rohingyas who have taken refuge in Bangladesh. In all, almost 600,000 Rohingya refugees have left northern Rakhine state since August 25th, when the UN says the Myanmar army began a campaign of ethnic cleansing following insurgent attacks.
We were happy to be reassured that India would continue to support the humanitarian cause related to Rohingyas in Bangladesh. We thank India for humanitarian assistance provided for Rohingyas. We further urged India to contribute towards exerting sustained pressure on Myanmar to find a peaceful solution to the crisis, including sustainable return of all Rohingyas to their homeland.
Swaraj called on Bangladesh Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina and discussed situation arising out of influx of displaced persons from Rakhine State and the need for an early and lasting solution. On her two-day visit, the minister inaugurated 15 Indian-assisted development projects worth about $8.7 million. The projects are being planned as per the country's geographical spread, socio-economic benefits and priorities.
The Indian External Affairs Minister also met leader of opposition Roshan Irshad and Bangladesh Nationalist Party chairperson Begum Khaleda Zia and exchanged views on issues of mutual interest. Moving on, anti-Pakistan protests were held across Pakistan-occupied Kashmir and Gilgit Baltistan to mark Black Day. It was on October 22 in 1947 that the Pakistan Army, disguised as tribal raiders, invaded the undivided state of Jammu and Kashmir. We have a report.
On October 22, people came out on the streets to register their protest on the 70th anniversary of the day when the Pakistani Army, disguised as tribals, attacked parts of the then undivided state of Jammu and Kashmir and occupied a third of the state. Protests were reported from Bagh, Muzaffarabad, Kotli, Gilgit and Hazira and other places. A massive rally and public meeting was held in Bagh city as the protesters raised anti-Pakistan slogans and demanded freedom by Islamabad's illegal occupation. The events were organized by United Kashmir People's National Party, Kashmir National Party and Jammu Kashmir National Independence Alliance.
हम ये कहना चाहते हैं कि ये इस तरह का जुल्म और नाइंसाफी, ये लड़ाइयाँ लड़ते हैं, हाइड्रो इलेक्ट्रिक पावर हमारे सोसाइटी में बन रहे हैं, हमारी रियासत में बन रहे हैं, हमारे इलाकों में बन रहे हैं, लेकिन हमें उस पे हक नहीं दिया जाता, हमें उसके बारे में बात करने की इजाजत नहीं है, ये तुम्हारे बाप की जागीर नहीं है।
The Kashmir National Party held a round-table all-parties conference in Kotli regarding tribal invasion of October 22, 1947 in Jammu and Kashmir.
गिलगित बल्तिस्तान में स्टेट सब्जेक्ट रूल की जो वायलेशन हो रही है उसको एक राहदार के जरिए कंडेम किया जाए और ये लिखा जाए कि गिलगित बल्तिस्तान में स्टेट सब्जेक्ट रूल बहाल किया जाए। वो चुंगुन से लेके खत्म कर दिया गया और वहाँ पे नख्तर में और बेशुमार जगहों पे जो है वो पाकिस्तान के सरमादार और जगीरदार और वडेरे और जर्नल जो है जाके वहाँ पे अपनी वहाँ पे जमीनें कब्जा कर रहे हैं।
In London, Kashmiri activists held a demonstration outside the Pakistani High Commission to mark the 70th anniversary of tribal invasion of Jammu and Kashmir. The protest was organized by Jammu Kashmir National Independence Alliance, an umbrella grouping of Kashmiri political parties and civil society organizations based in UK. The protesters chanted anti-Pakistan slogans and demanded an end to the forceful occupation of POK and Gilgit Baltistan. They also called for an immediate withdrawal of Pakistani forces from their territory as per the UN Security Council resolution.
मैं ये कहना चाहता हूँ कि पाकिस्तान के हुक्मरानों ने इस नाम निहाद आजाद कश्मीर के अंदर जो हुकूमत आजाद कश्मीर कायम कर रखी है उसके पास कोई इख्तियारात नहीं है। ये पाकिस्तान के पेड एजेंट हैं, ये पाकिस्तान के दलाल हैं। इन्होंने आज तक जम्मू कश्मीर की हकीकी आजादी के लिए आवाज बुलंद नहीं की है। इन्होंने आज तक रियासत जम्मू कश्मीर के लोगों को रोजगार नहीं दिया है। इन्होंने आज तक रियासत जम्मू कश्मीर का वो हिस्सा जिस पर यह नाम नहाद आजाद हुकूमत कायम है, एजुकेशन नहीं दी है, हेल्थ का इंतजाम नहीं है, सड़कें टूटी हुई हैं और वहां पर ये पाकिस्तान के कलमे पढ़ाए जाते हैं कि कश्मीर पाकिस्तान का हिस्सा है, कश्मीर पाकिस्तान की सरहद है। अब ये बकवास बंद होना चाहिए।
Pakistan-occupied Kashmir, also known as Azad Kashmir, has a prime minister and a president, but is ruled from Islamabad. The Prime Minister of Pakistan is the chairman and the chief executive of the Azad Jammu and Kashmir Council that manages all affairs related to POK.
The situation in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir remains in shambles even after 70 years of its occupation. To get in-depth of the issues there, my colleague Ravi Khandelwal spoke to Nasir Aziz Khan, a Kashmiri activist and member of United Kashmir People's National Party.
Nazir, Pakistan called POK as Azad Kashmir. So how Azad is that region?
We are far from freedom. Azad means free Kashmir, but we are far from freedom. We are ruled by 4 powerful land officers. They are always imposed by Pakistan, especially from Punjab province. And local government in Muzaffarabad, that government is just showpiece, puppet. They don't have any constitutional rights. They don't have power to legislate. Although there is a legislative assembly, there is a prime minister, president, but unfortunately they don't have any powers. And they are serving the interest of the Pakistan government.
It is not only the human rights violations out there in POK. There are reports that many terror camps are existing in that part of Jammu and Kashmir. So how serious is the concern for the local people?
This is the duplicity of the Pakistan. She claims that she is the ally of US and Western countries' war on terror, but this is not the reality. If we see that due to the pressure of United States and other Western countries, they have arrested the head of the Jamaat-ud-Dawa, Lashkar-e-Taiba, Hafiz Saeed. But from the jail, he announced a political party, he announced a new political party, that Milli Muslim League. And these people are roaming freely in metropolitan cities, in Karachi, in Lahore, in Islamabad, where there is a media, electronic and print media, and in so-called Azad Kashmir, that is a landlocked area, and we don't have local media. International community has no access in those areas. When these leaders of the so-called terrorist organization, banned organizations, they enter in Kashmir and authorities give them full protocol. Military and local authorities, they give them full protocol, they provide them security, and they are recruiting Kashmiri youngsters for their dirty tactics. They are asking them to go to the Indian side of Kashmir for holy war or jihad.
Now China is entering in the disputed Jammu and Kashmir territory. They are building dams, they are building roads, they are destroying the environment basically. So does the people of POK have some concerns regarding these projects?
Yes, people are very much concerned about China. China is a brutal state. If you see in the China, people don't have any rights. And China has expansionist designs, and she is spreading her wings, and she wants to show her power. Especially, we are a tiny state of Jammu and Kashmir. I am talking about Gilgit Baltistan and POK. And Chinese involvement is very much. There are thousands of Chinese soldiers are there in the name of workers. They brought them that they are the workers working in different projects, but in reality they are the regular soldiers of the Chinese army. And they are exploiting our natural resources. And we have fear that China will not withdraw from that areas. They will build and they will occupy our areas.
Okay, thank you, Nazir.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Moving on to Nepal, where the country is gearing up to hold provincial and federal elections. However, the ruling Nepali Congress wants to postpone the dates. The opposition parties want it to be on scheduled dates. Some people also demand return of the monarchy rule in the country. We have a report.
As election fever grips Nepal, people in the Tarai region stand in support of former Nepal king Gyanendra Shah, who recently said he is ready to run the country again. A massive public rally was organized in Birganj town by Rajwadi leaders and workers to show their support to former king.
जो इस देश का सिर्फ राष्ट्रवादी नहीं, जो देशभक्त जिसको अगर देश से प्रेम है, वो सब प्रत्येक जनता पूरा पूर्ण रूप से सत्ता ले ले और नेपाल और नेपाली को बचाए। नहीं तो ये जो जैसे कि ये स्थानीय चुनाव हुआ है, उसमें जितना जनता को ये लोग लूट करके जो मांस दारू खिला करके ये जो वोट लिए हैं, उससे ज़्यादा कहीं संसद के चुनाव में ये लोग करेंगे।
Political parties have also started filing nominations for the first phase of elections of House of Representative and Provincial Council. The elections in 32 districts are scheduled to be held on November 26. The remaining 45 districts will have elections on December 7. The nominations for December 7 elections shall take place for the remaining 43 districts on November 2.
Moving on to India, a land of myriad cultures and festivals. Today we take you to India's northeastern state of Manipur, where the festival of Ningol Chakouba had recently been celebrated with great enthusiasm. Take a look.
Married women draped in beautiful attires and carrying baskets of fruits are on their way to their parental house, where the Ningol Chakouba festival will be celebrated. According to the customs, the married women are invited to a feast to their parental house with their husband and children. Ningol Chakouba is celebrated among the Meitei community of Manipur, which is the biggest ethnic group of the state. The festival is celebrated on the second lunar day of Heyangi, which falls in the month of October and November. Though Ningol Chakouba is celebrated for just one day, it bears a significant impact on the Manipuri culture. Through the ages, fish has been the main preparation of the festival, and that had led Fisheries Department to organize a fish fair cum fish crop competition.
Since 1979, the department has started this kind of fish fair, fish crop competitions, thinking that we, the department, can help something for the state of Manipur, especially our sister, mother, Ningol, all the group, with the fresh fish. And our theme is, as I said earlier, our theme is to make fish available to everybody at control rate.
Ningol Chakouba, which is celebrated with great pomp and fervor, comes from Ningol, means daughter, while Chakouba means an invitation for lunch at the mother's house. According to legends, Maharaja Chandrakirti, who ruled during the 19th century, found it difficult to separately meet all his sisters. So he invited all of them to his place instead, and thus the festival of Ningol Chakouba was started. The festival also shares a bond between siblings. It is an occasion of a family get-together.
Festivals of India showcase the different cultural, social and religious aspirations of the communities living in the country. With that, I take your leave. This is your host, Uzma Jafri. See you next week. Take care and goodbye.